Good morning, gentlemen. Today we're going to be talking about how to stop gun bunch out of dollar. This is actually going to be a setup from CVasty. He posted his ebook on the site last night, CVasty's Dollar Defense. So if you guys remember, check it out. It's already up. But this is going to be one of his setups, and it's just extremely easy. I'm going to go from basic to advanced, so everybody has an answer, and you can kind of change things up a little bit out of this shell. So the play is going to be cover 6, show 4. And we're going to go to coaching adjustments, and we're going to make sure auto alignment's on base, and we're going to make sure zone coverage is on match, and then make sure these zone drops are on default. Otherwise, it's just going to be a drop defense, and it's not really going to stop anything. Okay, so cover 6, show 4, and then we're going to go against verticals, because my philosophy here with bunch is if your shell does not stop verticals, it's shit, because that's a play that every single bunch user uses. So it needs to box verticals for sure. So the setup is extremely simple. And this is only one of like 5 shells he has versus bunch. So if you guys want to just like really clamp down on bunch, like any of the plays, then check that out at acemadden.com. It's CVasty's Dollar Defense. Just become a member. You gain access to all of our ebooks. There's 7 of them up right now. So yeah, it's really cheap. Use code ACE for 15% off. It's like $8.50 for everything. So yeah, really good deal. Anyways, so as far as stopping this, all we're going to do is just man up this linebacker to the point receiver, which is the slot receiver, however you want to identify him as. And then that's technically it. If you're sending 3, I recommend blitzing your user. But there are things you can do to just make this better. So for instance, we have a curl flat over there on the bunch side. I personally don't like curl flats when they're just stock. I mean, they're okay, but I'd rather have a seam flat. So I'm going to change him to a seam flat by double tapping wire triangle, A, and then left stick up for a seam flat. And the reason seam flat is better is because he's going to take away the tight end wheel for a second before passing him off to the safety. And he also just does a good job of kind of like baiting, and he's almost more like a match zone than a curl flat. So you can run it just like this. This is going to bag up on verticals. We just take the running back in this case. But as you can see, nothing was open. We have Levante David covering that slot receiver. In MUT or CFM, whatever you want, you could put a safety there instead of a linebacker. In this case, I don't really need to. But the only thing was open that was like, you could probably pass lead that ISO receiver to the outside, and that could be an easy completion. But that's where we just, get a little bit more advanced. You don't have to keep that Tampa 2 shell over there on the ISO side. In fact, it's really not that good. Because C routes will also get over that cloud flat and underneath the safety. So it's just not the best shell to run versus bunch over there. So something I like to do is I would outside third him, and then I would man up the safety and the cornerback to the running back like this. And now this is just going to like super bag everything. You could just basically watch the bunch side and just check for anything coming from right to left. So read the tight end, read the outside receiver, see if they're on an in route or a drag or a slant. That's really all you have to do. So in this case, we know that's really not happening. But yeah, nothing is open. Now you don't have to do that. I know that's like a lot of adjustments for you or for a lot of people. So if you don't want to do all that on the bunch side or on the ISO side, I would say what you would have to do is probably do the man up to the outside receiver. And then in case the running back runs a wheel, I would still man up the slot cornerback. And that just saves you one adjustment. You don't have to put that guy in an outside third. So you could run it like this. We'll do it again. As you can see, we take away that outside streak. Now everything is bagged. Pressure does take a bit to come in when you send 3. The solution to that would be we're going to blitz the slot cornerback now. So do the same thing over there on the bunch side. Same thing every single time. It's going to be this man up to the point, and then the seam flat, and then leave the quarters. You definitely want to keep those quarters. And then you can blitz the slot cornerback. And then after you do that, if you know that they're sending the running back on an in route, since we're sending the slot cornerback, we don't need our defensive end over there on the bunch side. So this is an optional adjustment. You don't have to do it, but just to show you how you can stop the running back is just D-pad left twice, open your defensive line menu, hit A or X, and then bluff blitz with right stick to the right. You're sending 3, so I do recommend blitzing your user. And then when you run it like this, all you have to do is just kind of like make sure the running back isn't going on a seam. And then you can maybe put the outside guy on a soft squat. That's going to help a little bit. Let's go ahead and look. As you can see, the pressure is a little bit better. I'll go to another play in a second, don't worry. But as you can see, like, what's open? Nothing's really open. Running back, you could have thrown a little bit early. Right here, maybe. Except not really. I mean, the guy's watching the quarterback. He's probably going to break that up. He carries him, passes him off to the seam flat. You could probably throw this running back as soon as he crosses the face of this defensive end. But honestly, this is like as good as it gets for verticals defense. Okay, next I'm going to show you a flood concept. So when the slot receiver is breaking out instead of in, and why we could run into some problems with this show. So cover 6 show 4, and then we'll do bunch trail. And the way we're going to set this up is we're just going to make it like a basic, flood concept, right? So we'll do the backside dig, put the running back on an out route, and we'll run something like this. So let's go ahead and just run the exact same setup that we've been doing. I'm going to show you where you can run into problems. And this is where it helps to have access to all the other shells that he provides. And he provides multiple shells versus all the meta defenses or meta offenses. So bunch, trips, tight, U-trips. He has answers for all of those. And against the majority of players, you can really just spam them all game and you're going to box everybody because they're just that good. So let's go ahead and run it. And the pressure came in. However, if we go to instant replay, you're going to see that the shell does get technically busted. So let's go ahead and look at it here. Since this slot receiver is manned up by a linebacker and he's on one of the best routes in the game, linebacker's inside, wide receiver's outside, he breaks outside, he's giving up leverage, and this is going to happen. And you're going to see what happens. Even though that outside receiver is not motioned out, this outside quarter is going to say, okay, I'm not going to stay outside. I'm going to go help on this streak, even though it's pointless. And that's something that we have to know and something we have to adjust to. So if you know they're running this kind of concept, you can't keep the same shell. You just can't. So what you would do is do the same thing. And then you would man up the slot receiver or slot cornerback to that outside receiver. And then man up this guy to the tight end. And then what this is going to do against that exact same concept, it's going to change the assignments of these players. Let's go ahead and look. And only thing that's open now is going to be the backside dig, which we can fix. So let's go ahead and look. You're going to see, since we have different man ups, the quarters behave differently. This guy does get open. Tight end does get open. However, he throws him. The quarter is still watching the quarterback, so he's going to stop him for like 4 or 5 yard gain, which we can live with, I suppose. And then this outside quarter ends up playing the corner route. So if they motion a guy out, that's where things could change. So do the same thing. So we have this set up again. And let's say they do something like this, right? Let's go ahead and actually, let's do the same setup on offense. So you're going to see now what happens is, since we motion out, the outside quarter is now responsible for that outside receiver. And we were basically just double teaming him for really no reason. And now the safety is responsible for the number 2 who breaks out. And that's a win. So how do you fix that? And this is where Steve Asti provides all the solutions. Like, he is ready for anything that a bunch user can throw at him. And this is something he came up with. So if you see, for instance, we do the exact same setup. What happened with my adjustments? Oh, I'm stuck on a menu. Okay. So if you run it like this, and they motion this guy out, all you're going to do is change your man assignment from your slot cornerback from that outside receiver to the slot receiver. And then, personally, I like to back him off because I do not like back. I don't like press versus those corner routes. You just get cooked. So that's just me personally, and I'll tell you guys how to do that in a second. But right there, he's now double covered, and it's just really not an easy throw. So if you want to learn how to do that, by the way, I'm going to go ahead and press. And then all you're going to do is I'm going to man him up to the slot receiver. And then you hit Y, A, the receiver you want to back off of, which is RB in this case, RB, and then left stick or right stick up. Now he's backed off. And this is always going to be better versus a corner route, because for some reason against those specific corner routes, they'll do a good job on the press, but as soon as he gets to the break, he's pretty much guaranteed to get separation, and you just better hope you have an ability on him, like a mid-route KO or something. Otherwise, you're probably going to lose on that one. But yeah, this was a pretty in-depth breakdown, just talking about 2 plays, but that's how it is with bunch. You got to have some somewhat advanced solutions. You can't just run a stock cover 6 or whatever and bag everything in bunch. It just doesn't work that way. But hopefully you guys enjoyed the free tip. Like I said, if you guys want to check that out on acemadden.com, it's a really good defense. It honestly helped me. I'm going to be running a lot of his setups. And against like a large majority of people, like in head-to-head and just in your CFMs and stuff, you're going to absolutely box them. They're not going to have an answer for you. So yeah, use code ACE for 15% off when you become a member. But yeah, that's it for the video. Hope you enjoyed. Drop a like if you did. Subscribe for more Madden 23 content. I'll see you guys later.